So today I'm going to be reviewing the OnePlus Pad 3, and we are going to get into a lot of details about this tablet. And I'm going to let you know overall my thoughts on this because I do think that this Android tablet, it's one of the best Android tablets that is out right now. And I've been using this tablet for around 2 weeks, and I've just got a lot to say because there are some gripes I have about it, but there's a lot of things that I love. So with all that being said, let's get right into it and let's talk about the OnePlus Pad 3. So the first thing I want to talk about with the OnePlus Pad 3, it has to be the price, because this tablet right now, it is available for pre-order and it's available for $699. That is the retail price, and this does have the Snapdragon 8 Elite processor. So we are getting a tablet with a very, very good processor, really the best processor you can get on Android right now. 12 gigs of RAM in the base model, and we're getting that, of course, for a very good price. It's very competitive, and not to mention you can get the keyboard cover and you can get the stylus for free with the pre-order deal, at least, because they are allowing you to choose 2 accessories that you can get for free between the keyboard, the stylus, and the folio cover. But what do I think about these prices? What do I think about this tablet for that price? Well, it's very, very good. Now, there are some flaws with it. We don't get an AMOLED screen with this tablet, so if you want an AMOLED screen, that's one minor nitpick, of course, we can have here, because this won't have quite as nice of a screen as you're going to see on the Tab S10 Plus or the Tab S10 Ultra. This tablet also doesn't have a fingerprint sensor, so you will have to use Face Unlock. Now, Face Unlock is super fast on this tablet, but I would expect a fingerprint sensor for this price. And I will say the body of the tablet, I noticed it does pick up some good fingerprints. Even the keyboard case, all of these things seem to pick up a lot of fingerprints compared to other tablets. But if we take a step back from those things, you will realize that this is a tremendous tablet, and it's an incredible value whenever you see what this tablet does provide, especially if you get the keyboard case for free, especially if you get the stylus for free, for $699 to get the very best processor in a tablet. And honestly, we get a tremendous aspect ratio here on the screen. It's a 7:5 aspect ratio, and that does allow you to really view a lot of content on your screen. It's a lot better, I think, for general usage on a tablet and for productivity. So it's a great screen that does look good even though it's not AMOLED. We get a super fast performing tablet, and the keyboard cover, I would also argue, even though it does get a little bit of fingerprints here and there, I would still say this is the best keyboard cover you're going to find on an Android tablet. But if you could deal with not having an AMOLED display, if you just take a minor step down with the display and still get a tremendous display, by the way, like 315 ppi on the display, and it's a 13.2 inch screen, so it's a little bit bigger than the Tab S10 Plus, a little bit smaller than the Tab S10 Ultra, and you get a nice increase in battery size because OnePlus does use certain battery technology, and that does allow them to fit in a very nice battery into this tablet. Plus, this tablet does charge a lot faster than a lot of other tablets. It does support 80-watt charging, for example, so if you factor all of those things in, faster charging, a better battery, the best processor you can get, and a very good screen, you're getting pretty much everything you would want in a good tablet. Even the keyboard cover is tremendous, and you're getting it for $699 and getting the keyboard cover with the pre-order deal. That is tremendous. Now, even if you don't get that pre-order deal, right? Maybe you're only going to get the stylus for free, or maybe you'll only get the keyboard cover, or maybe the folio, right? I don't know what prices will be down the line, but even for $699 without accessories, this is going to be a good bargain, even if you don't find the tablet on sale at all. So let's start off by talking about the design of this tablet. It does come in around 675 grams, and that's around 10 grams more than the Galaxy Tab S10 FE Plus, and that tablet, of course, has a way worse processor, a smaller battery, so the fact that you're getting this weight in this size of a tablet, I think it's pretty impressive overall. And again, it does feel very, very premium. Of course, you do get 2 speakers on each side of the tablet. Technically, OnePlus says there's 4 woofers and tweeters on each side of the tablet, so you are going to get really good sound quality. The speakers are tremendous here. But you are gonna notice there is no SD card slot and there is no fingerprint sensor. Now, I really wanted a fingerprint sensor here. I was super disappointed, but then I tried out the face unlock and it was super fast, and even in some poor lighting conditions, it still can unlock your tablet at least most of the time. So I was having a very good experience with face unlock. The bezels are very thin if you look at the front of the screen. I like having a little bit of bezels to hold onto the tablet, but the bezels aren't too bad. And again, the face unlock does work tremendously. But the star of the show here, it's going to be the performance. Now, yes, the screen is good. It's not the star of the show. I do think it's very good, but it's not AMOLED, so that's a minor compromise. If you're looking around $700 to $1,000 for a tablet, some people might want to get the Tab S10 Plus if you find it on sale. Maybe you find it for $800, but it does have an AMOLED screen, right? So I get there are tablets out there that you might find for a good deal with a very gorgeous screen like that. But this screen is no slouch. It does look very good. And the fact that it's over 13 inches in size, it has such a good resolution, the colors and the PPI are great on this display. And if you're someone who absolutely has to have AMOLED, I get it. That might be a deal breaker. Maybe the fingerprint sensor might be a deal breaker, or even the SD card slot. But a lot of these things are going to be minor compromises for some people. Because for me, 256 gigs of storage, that is more than enough for me. I don't need an SD card slot personally, and I don't mind giving up an AMOLED screen if the screen is still really nice, and the screen is great here. Again, the fingerprint sensor is a minor thing, but if you compare this with the $1,000 Tab S10 Plus, or if you compare it with the Tab S10 Ultra, which costs even more, those devices have MediaTek processors, and that's where this tablet really shines with the Snapdragon 8 Elite. Of course, the benchmark scores are great. This tablet does fly through everything. OnePlus with their software, it is so good with the animations, so you're not going to have to worry if you're going from one app to another. It's going to fly through. Of course, when you're opening up an app for the first time, it might take a second or two, but outside of that, this is going to be the best performing tablet you can get, especially for gaming. If you're an emulator, you like actually emulating games, well then you're going to really enjoy that on this tablet because it's going to have that processor and that GPU with it that's really going to be tremendous for gaming. So if you're trying to game on your tablet, I don't think you can get a better tablet than this. Like, this is going to be phenomenal. If you're trying to multitask, do a lot of work on your tablet, or you're just trying to get stuff done day to day, this is going to absolutely fly. Now, if we're talking about actually using your tablet for stuff like productivity, we have to talk a little bit about the keyboard cover and the software. So the keyboard cover is my favorite keyboard cover that I've ever used on Android, and I have to say that. It is tremendous. And yes, there are some minor annoyances with it. For example, you do have the back of the keyboard cover, which I just love the look of this. It looks good, it feels good. I don't even know how to describe the materials because yes, it does feel like there's some type of fabric, but it almost just feels like a nice laptop backing on it. So it just feels very premium and nice. But you will notice that this back cover, if you are adjusting the kickstand, sometimes it just comes off very easily. So you do have to be very careful when you are adjusting the kickstand. So you have the part that connects to the back, the nice kickstand, and you do have the keyboard itself. Now the keyboard, it's a little weird. It attaches behind the kickstand, right? So if you're trying to connect your keyboard and you haven't been connecting it for a while, you're gonna have to really look behind the tablet and try to find where those keyboard pins connect, or just look fairly carefully to make sure it connects. It could be easy to miss. Again, a very minor annoyance with just how it's connected. I wish the pins were just at the bottom of the tablet. But if you can deal with those things, and again, some minor fingerprints, you are gonna find out the keyboard cover has great travel. It doesn't have backlighting, but the travel on the keys feels good. The keyboard deck feels very sturdy, and it feels super premium whenever I'm typing on it. I think it's way better than Samsung's keyboard cover for their Tab S10 Plus or Ultra. I think it's a lot better than even Lenovo's keyboard cover with the Yoga Tab Plus. So even though there are some minor things about it, there's a lot of things that I love about it, because it also works with Bluetooth. So if you do want to disconnect it from your tablet, it automatically connects and still works with Bluetooth. You just pull it out. Of course, you'll have to adjust the kickstand. And once you pull the keyboard cover off, it still works, of course, and it's still connected with that Bluetooth connection. Now, there is one minor annoyance with that too. You do actually have to go into the settings and go to Bluetooth and disconnect it if you want it disconnected. There's no power button or anything on the keyboard cover. That's, again, a minor annoyance, but some of you might actually love the fact that it works with Bluetooth. I think it's a tremendous feature. I'm willing to go to the settings and turn it off if I get that Bluetooth functionality. I think it's really cool that this does have a built-in battery. Now, when you're trying to use this tablet for productivity, one thing you need to know about is the software. So if you look at software optimization, well, OnePlus does a little bit of a worse job whenever you're comparing it to Samsung or Lenovo. So if you look at an app, for example, like the Woot app, or maybe you look at something like FedEx, there are a lot of apps that aren't made to work in that landscape orientation, and OnePlus will just leave them in that portrait orientation. That is very, very bothersome to me. There is a way to solve that. It's a little bit complicated, but if you actually do an ADB command, and there's a big Reddit thread on this with the OnePlus Pad 2, that is a way to fix this, and you can actually resolve it to where all apps work in landscape mode. But that is something that OnePlus really needs to iron out with their software. I heard this may be fixed with the new Android update that eventually comes out, but I don't know that for sure. Either way, as a techie, I was able to fix that for myself, and again, that is only a few applications. Most applications will work in landscape mode anyway, so a lot of people aren't going to be bothered by one or two apps actually flipping to the side. They might just flip their tablet over or just open it up in the web browser or something, right? It's just a very minor annoyance with a couple of apps, but if you can deal with that or do the ADB command, you're going to find out that this tablet has very smooth software. It is very, very functional, and of course, it's a very lightweight operating system that does just fly through about everything, and it's very good for multitasking, it's very good for productivity, and that's another thing you can do if you do have an app that's really not working in a normal mode, or it's not working whenever you flip your tablet side to side. Well, don't worry, you could always have it in split screen anyway, and then you could just use two apps side by side, and that would even solve that problem for you too. Now, if you're wondering, this tablet does have Android 15 out of the box, and they are offering 3 years of operating system updates. Now, that is going to be Android 16, 17, and 18. And they are offering 6 years of security updates, so if you aren't worried as much about Android operating system updates, but maybe you just want your tablet to be safe and secure, OnePlus does have you covered for 6 years, and that is very good support. So it's not quite as good as Samsung, but it's still pretty good operating system support overall, and I am impressed with it. At least you get 3 years with the base operating system updates, and the tablet will still work just fine 4 or 5 or even 6 years later, and I think that's going to be more than enough for your average person. Now, outside of those things, we do have to talk about extra features, because once again, this does have 80-watt fast charging, so it does charge very, very fast. This does have one of the best batteries you're going to find in an Android tablet. It even has a bigger battery than the Tab S10 Ultra, but you're actually powering this battery on a smaller screen, so this is really going to get you the best battery life that you're going to find on an Android tablet. Amazing battery life, tremendously fast charging speeds, a great keyboard cover, a very good display, and very solid performance. And even some minor nitpicks out there, a lot of you aren't going to care about those things, especially when you look at your pocketbook and whenever you realize that you're saving so much money. Now, I did realize when I was editing this at like 5 in the morning that I almost forgot about the stylus. The stylus experience is very good. It's actually using the same stylus from the OnePlus Pad 2. So the Stylo 2 is really good with a nice texture on the pen. I do enjoy that, and I do enjoy using it for note-taking, though admittedly I'm not very good at drawing, so I can't give you a lot of artist tips, but I do enjoy the stylus experience. So if we compare this tablet to the competition and really see if it's worth it, I would say it's dependent on you. If you're someone who needs a fingerprint sensor or an AMOLED display or an SD card slot, if you care about those minor features, and those things might be really important to you, if they are, well, you're gonna get the best of all worlds if you get something like the Tab S10 Plus or the Tab S10 Ultra from Samsung. Now those tablets will be a little bit slower, but I don't think most people will notice. But the one thing you're gonna notice is the fact that you're gonna pay more money for those tablets. Also, you're gonna have to buy the keyboard cover separately, and the keyboard cover won't be quite as good as this one here. So this does have some better features than the Tab S10 Plus and some worse features, but it's priced hundreds of dollars less. So I do think this tablet is a better value overall for most consumers, and as long as you're willing to give up that AMOLED display, and as long as you're willing to give up like a fingerprint sensor, you are going to get a much better value in this tablet here, especially if you get those great pre-order deals or some extra deal on the side. But overall, this is going to be a tablet that is amazing, and it is a tremendous addition to the Android lineup. I highly recommend it. And yeah, OnePlus did send me this tablet, but they do have no editorial control whatsoever over this review, so they can't control anything I'm saying here, right? And obviously I did point out plenty of gripes, but it's a really, really solid tablet, and honestly, I think I'm gonna be using mine for quite a while. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please give me a like and give me a sub. That does mean a ton to my channel. Another thing you can do is check those links in the description. That is a great way to support me and also to check out those deals to see what you find, right? I will have other tablets as well if you want to check out the deals there and really compare them. At some point I will do a tablet tier list. A lot of you know I cover Android tablets a lot. So if you want to see that, stay tuned and subscribe and check out some other videos if you get time, because it would mean a lot. But no matter what you're going through, I hope you have a great day. I hope you've enjoyed this review, and I hope you enjoy your week.